This is He Knows His Sport, bringing you that heat and that fire. All right, y'all. We're going to talk about this, man, because we got to get into this. Hear me and hear me well. This is what people need to understand. There's a difference. There's a delineation. There's a distinction between who's qualified as an NBA MVP frontrunner, right? Who's an NBA MVP? And who's the unquestionably and unequivocally best player in the game. Let me say it again. There's a delineation or distinction or separation, so to speak, on who's qualified to be the NBA MVP frontrunner, a la NBA MVP, and who's the best player in the game. Giannis Antetokounmpo is the MVP, unquestionably. Just like he was last year, he's the MVP this year. MVP of what? Remember, in basketball, like Meek Mill say, there's levels to this stuff. There's gears, there's separations. The truth of the fact of the matter is this. When you look at Giannis Antetokounmpo, he's been the best player of the regular season, but he hasn't been the best player in basketball. People don't understand there's a difference, because there's what we call regular season MVPs, and then there's what we call finals MVPs. Let me say it again. There's what we call regular season MVPs, and then there's what we call finals MVPs. Kawhi Leonard was the finals MVP last year. So by acclaim, by acclamation, he is what we call the best player in the game of basketball, because he has the prestigious award that denotes this. When you are a finals champion and a finals MVP, there's no award in basketball that separates you more from the pack than that one. So when you look at a Kawhi Leonard, you have to say unquestionably and unequivocally that he is the best player in the game of basketball. You see the difference? We're not talking about MVP, because I think what gets lost in translation is people are so caught up in who's the MVP, and then they associate an MVP with the person who's the best player in the game. LeBron James is not the best player in the game. He has not been the best player in the game. He hasn't been the best player in the game for at least a good 4 or 5 years. It's been Kevin Durant, because Kevin Durant in 2017, he won the finals and the finals MVP. And in 2018, he won the finals and the finals MVP. Right? Kawhi Leonard won the 2019 finals MVP. So LeBron James' last tenure of his being the best basketball player was 2016, because he had the finals MVP. You're judged by your finals MVPs. This is how you're judged as being the best player in the game. Giannis Antetokounmpo, once again, is not the best player in the game of basketball, because you guys have to remember the claw locked him down. So how can he be the best player if Kawhi Leonard shut him down? You see what I'm saying? Giannis Antetokounmpo showed that there's still layers to his game that he needs to progress at, because he's at 60% of his NBA potential, but he's no longer there no more. He's graduated to 75%. So he has an extra 15% potential on his mileage that has been showing on the floor in the game of basketball. So you got to give him credit for that. But he's still not the best player. The best player is Kawhi Leonard until Kawhi Leonard is dethroned. The reason why I have the Los Angeles Clippers as the all-out favorite to win this year is because Kawhi Leonard still gives me the impression that he is the true alpha that he is, and he is unquestionably and unequivocally the best player in the game of basketball. Now, the Clippers lost to the Rockets the other day. Clippers are being called flippers, right? I don't get caught up in that, because what people have to understand in the game of basketball, it's a law of attrition. There's going to be certain games that you're going to lose. It does not excoriate or it does not excuse the Clippers for losing, right? They lost. And losing is not acceptable. He Knows the Sport does not accept losing. So I get on them from that standpoint, because, again, regular season has its importance. The importance that regular season has is it positions you in basketball to be in line and in position to be able to be qualified to know what your seeding or your standing is going to be in the real NBA season, which is the NBA playoffs, right? So there is merit and there is what we call importance to the NBA regular season. But that's where the buck stops with that. But again, there's a delineation, a separation, and a distinction between who's the MVP of the regular season, who's the best player in basketball in the regular season, and who's the best player in basketball, period, and who is the real best player in basketball. Because in order for you to be defined, right, in order for you to get the distinction that you are qualified and certified to be the best player in basketball, you have to win the finals and the finals MVP. It's really that simple, folks. This is He Knows the Sport. Checking out.